Hello, hello, hello. Trust you
Mr.
doing
Slava,
well. Mr. Thapelo Chere Maseke. How are you, my brother?
I'm awesome, thanks. And yourself?
Healthy and well, healthy and well. We're living long and strong.
Yeah, that's the way to go, man. That's the way to go.
Long and strong. We're happy to have you here, man. I haven't seen you for I haven't seen you for years. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yay.
Last time I saw you, you were a bit more
Yes.
skinny. Last time I saw you, you were slender.
Let me tell you, I feel so good with this body now. This body
Yeah.
weight. The
Yes.
only thing I don't like, it's the belly that's growing, them cover issue. That's my challenge. But it's not bad. I think for my age, it's kind
Yeah.
of look good. But I want to deal with it before it goes far.
No, that's good. In your 30s, it doesn't go away that easily. Mine too. I germ,
Yes.
but the stomach goes down and comes back up. It's an up and down thing.
And you've been committed. You one person who've been fully committed to gym.
I go. I go.
Okay, and I guess it's because of the
Sometimes I just go to shower and leave, but I still go.
or you go to gym, shower, but you feel like at least you've done something because you were there.
I've done something important for the day. So we've got a couple of people on here, Mr. Chere.
Okay.
Say hi, ladies and gentlemen. Say hi to Thapelo. Welcome. Thank you. We hope you're well, you're happy, you're smiling. Welcome to the LeRoy Slava, where we have conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. Okay? And we've got a very inspiring guest here today, guys. From prison to purpose. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm interested. I'm curious. So I'm going to ask him some things that I haven't asked him before. And so, guys, what I want you to do as well is, right, remember this is live. Lucretia up says hi. Hi, Lucretia. It's also going to go on. It's also going to go on to my YouTube channel, which is LeRoy Slava. So go subscribe to the YouTube channel where you can look at other videos as well. So the show is to educate. It's to inspire. And I think another thing, Thapelo, what we also want to do on here, right, is we want to share opportunities. Okay, so you share opportunities. All the speakers come from different areas. They do different things. They'll tell you what they're doing. I'll also tell you what I'm doing. So while we're chatting and talking, hopefully you catch something that can inspire you that you can use in your life and you can apply.
That's
so.
Great. Yeah.
So I think one thing from my side before we start talking to Thapelo is, guys, what I do is I invest in property. So if you want to invest in property, let's say property is something you want to get involved in, you want to invest, you don't know where to start, you want to get some advice or more information, inbox me. If you go to my page, there's a WhatsApp number as well. Just put your name, your number, and say property in there. Okay, name, number, property. And if you also want to get involved on the cryptocurrency side, right? That's the future. So we've got involved there. It's been going well. Name, surname, cryptocurrency. We'll contact you, give you more information, and show you what we're doing and how you can get started on that.
And I think they need to know this is not a fly-by-night cryptocurrency story. It's not like those guys that invite people randomly.
Yeah.
On Facebook, on social media, and they say I was in Victoria, but I stay in the United States. No. Now, what you're talking about, I know for a fact that you've started with Bitcoin, and I've seen it working in what you've been doing. So I think people need to understand that you're not going to be putting someone else's face when you sell the cryptocurrency business, when you introduce them to it. This is you, genuinely you.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't see other person. There's no LeRoy Slava living in the United States. So they shouldn't use your pictures.
Remember when I had that card back in 2015 or 16?
Yes, I remember. And you used it when we went out to eat, And that's when I believed that this thing does really work.
Yeah. And I should have continued then, but then I stopped. But anyway, guys, this is not about me. This is Thapelo. So Thapelo is an entrepreneur, right? He's a speaker. He's a father, right?
Yes.
So, and we're excited to have him here. We'll tell you more about what he does, how he does it, and we'll give you more information in a while. But Thapelo, I think let's get straight into it, my brother. From prison to purpose. How does that start? So you went to prison, right? How long did you go for?
I was sentenced to 18 years imprisonment.
18.
But 18, 1-8 imprisonment. However, I served 6 years, 9 months of my prison term. But all in all, I stayed 8 years in prison, counting the time I awaited trial.
So now tell us, I think I've got a lot of WhatsApps, people telling me, hey, I'm interested. This man has an interesting story. Tell us why you went to prison. Okay. And when did you go? When did you go and why did you go? What happened? What did you do?
So, I always paint this picture, so that it's clear to people of how I grew up. There are a lot of guys. Have you seen these young boys that are called cheese boy because they are softies and stuff,
Yeah.
And I noticed that through me, being a cheese boy has nothing to do with your parents having money or, just a well-off background. And I think, I was a softie mainly because of how I grew up. My mom was very strict, but I think she had a very, very soft hand when it came to me, in a way, of how she raised me together with my grandparents, especially my grandmother, my late grandmother. May her soul rest in peace. So I grew up in an environment where we were, I think, about 7 kids, 6, somewhere there. I forgot, and we were raised by my grandparents. We were raised by my grandparents, and growing up in the township and discovering myself in the process with no formula, with no formal structure or whatsoever.
Which township?
In Kwatema. I grew up in Kwatema. I was born and raised in Kwatema, in a section called Nyanyato, NY. We call it the NY. That's where I grew up. With all my friends there, my childhood friends. Went to primary school at Fred Habedi Primary School, and at Fred Habedi Primary School, I remember that's where I started falling in love with dancing. Growing up, we used to have what we call the robot dance, and the pantula dance. So
how old are you? How old are you?
At that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I must have been 11, 12 when I was discovering myself that, I love dancing, and with dancing comes popularity. If you you don't have to necessarily know how to dance entirely. If you mastered one style, look, you are known,
and you still do that one style now, because those styles you did back then, there's no new style.
I'm now stiff. I can't dance. I can't even dance to save my life. Okay, but maybe at least I try now and then when I'm excited, Yeah. But yeah, and that happened, and became a bit popular in primary school. And by the time I got to secondary school, that's where all hell broke loose. I remember, LeRoy, my first year when I was doing grade 8, this must have been 1998. 1998, when I was doing grade 8, I remember at school we had the first show. It was around February, a Valentine's ball or something, but it was a Valentine's event that happened in my school, and there we danced. We're in the program and we were called on stage. We danced, and let me tell you, that was one event that made me popular in the whole school. The whole school, my group, I became popular at school, And you see, this is the thing about fame, you know, or being popular at school, you know, it makes you think that now you are wiser than everyone else, you know.
Mm.
It makes you think that you don't need guidance, especially when you are younger, you know.
Yeah.
You become full of yourself, you know, and you think you can make every decision without even seeking for advice or um, you know, having someone that can at least give you some wisdom, you know. So I became so full of myself as a young child, as a kid, you know, growing up. And I enjoyed the attention, you know, girls as well, you know. It comes with a lot of girls around you. And you know, but then it got me into trouble at school, because then I started hanging around with people that were worse than me at that time,
Mm.
you know. So that's when my life changed drastically, you know, drastically within a blink of an eye. I saw myself smoking, started smoking cigarette.
Yeah.
Before I knew it, I was into dacha, you
Mm.
know, with dacha and going to different shows almost every weekend, almost every week, you know. There's a show happening around the township, and these are shows that were meant to inspire young people and get them maybe to modeling, discover their talents, you know, to keep them busy. But those shows, they were not monitored when they happened, because that's when kids had the liberty to start experimenting with all these substances with no older people to guide them, to at least talk to them, reprimand them, and so forth.
So you went to the shows to dance, but now you find
Yes,
yourself smoking. You find yourself smoking dacha.
yes.
All.
Dacha, cigarette. And it was in those shows where I then started experimenting with Mandrex. My drug of choice at that time was
Remember?
Mandrex. Yeah. And Mandrex at that time, you know, I always say I am so happy in a way, though I'm not happy that there's Nyaupe now, but I'm
Mm.
happy that there was Nyaupe in my time.
Hey, me too. Eh? Yeah, I see
Because,
that.
yes, yes. Because you and I, when we started doing drugs, when you and I started doing drugs back in the day, we were used to, yes, those drugs were strong. Because
Yeah.
with Mendrex came different pills with Mendrex, you know. I mean, came Double Star with Mendrex, came Brown Scave, you know, Chappies, all the helicopter. I remember a friend of mine,
Educate.
but he,
We're educating these listeners now on the Mandela, different Mandela. I didn't even know myself. There's so many. I was
I,
I
I
was
think,
I skipped the Dacha thing. I think I did. We were on the ecstasy, acid, more of the club stuff. Then it was cat, then coke. But I'm so happy that there wasn't heroin that we knew of, or there wasn't what's this other thing now?
the
Crystal
crystal,
meth, crystal meth or
yeah,
stuff. So
yeah.
I'm so happy there wasn't that nonsense back then.
Yes, yes, because you see, the heroin that they put into the nyaope, the crystal meth and stuff, that is those are substances that are highly addictive, you know. And with Mendrax as well, it was addictive. I mean, I was addicted. I remember at some point while doing Mendrax, because Mendrax are inhalants, remember, are inhalants and they are depressants as well. So what happened is that I suffered what they called depression of respiratory system, you
Mm.
know. I couldn't breathe properly, you know. I couldn't breathe properly, and I wanted to quit, I wanted to stop, but I was addicted. And you
Mm.
see, with the life of drugs, Leroy, you like it or not, especially even if your parents have money, they have means to maybe give you pocket money or and stuff, it won't be enough.
Yeah.
It won't
No,
be
it's
enough.
expensive. But now
Yes,
you went to jail. Why did you go? What did you do now? Now, how did you get to the point where? Because now you were soft. You said you were soft, but now you
exactly.
become rough. What happened?
Yeah, you see, so now these drugs, this lifestyle of drugs will make you
Yeah.
rough. You like it or not, you know. I ended up, as I said, the crowd that I was hanging around were very rough people, and it was individuals that were carrying firearms, you know. So when there wasn't money to smoke, we all had to go rob someone, rob somewhere, so that we can have money to smoke. When we needed to go to these shows now, you know, and my family couldn't give me, they couldn't afford. I mean, I didn't, my background was not that such that they'll be able to give me money now and then. I mean, I did not have money, you know, pocket money to school. You know, I didn't have that. So they couldn't give me money randomly for me to live my life. So now with this lifestyle, I started getting into crime, you know, crime to maintain the life that I was living. You know, this was a life of substances, this was a life of fun and so forth. And I had to find a way of maintaining this lifestyle now. And LeRoy, before you know it, you are deep into crime. You no longer doing crime just to maintain the lifestyle of addiction, you know, or to maintain the addiction. But now it becomes a lifestyle, you know. You then commit crime for no apparent reason. There's no reason.
Give us a few examples.
So for instance, then I was mostly doing armed robberies, but in the township at that time, you know. So this was then called petty crime. And I was around 14, 15, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember the first time when I was arrested, LeRoy, we had gone to rob a shoe repair, you know. A robbery went wrong, you know. We're trying to rob that shoe repair. So those guys, you know, Shangan gentlemen are regarded as strong guys, you know, and they were so fearless. So they fought with us, even though we had firearms. We had 2 firearms there. And eventually we had to run. You know, while we were running away, they were calling the police. Cops came. When we were on the other streets, they arrested us. But at that time, they couldn't get firearms. Because I was younger, I was released on free bail. You know, I was released on free bail, and I was told when to come to court. But that case didn't go anywhere. That's the worst thing that can ever happen. I thought now that I was arrested, I'm a big guy now in the township. No one can tell me. I know prison. And that time is not prison. Those are holding cells. And I did not even stay long, you know. So that was the first time I was arrested. And that sent a wrong message even to my peers. You see, that's a wrong message. And that is why I do what I do, which I'll talk about later, you know. And that was my first time I got arrested, and I got away with it. And the second time I was arrested, I remember it was one Saturday morning. I was still hungover, you know, from a very crazy night where we're in a show. The previous day, we did a lot of robberies and, you know, petty crime in the township, robbing these trucks that brought alcohol and drinks in the township, you know. And I remember that the following morning I was arrested, and that arrest changed my life forever.
Was that the arrest you got 18 years for?
No. This was before then. I did hardcore stuff, you know. Now that arrest, why it changed my life, LeRoy? It's that I was incarcerated, but I was in the holding cells at the police stations. There, I managed to escape after 2 weeks of being kept in holding cells.
You escaped?
Yes, I escaped, and I was 15 years old. You know, I escaped. We opened a hole somewhere on top there, and look, you know, we're only laughing now, but what?
I said you can't laugh about some of the things. It was crazy that a person did.
It was crazy. When we escaped, I remember we placed a you know, the metal page, what they call the poster in a magazine. Remember the time it was the Rothman's Cup? It used to be written, "It's unbelievable." Yeah. And the gold going inside, you know, the gold post, you know. So we took that out and pasted it on the wall so that when they came in, they could see that poster written, "It's unbelievable. We were gone." You know? So I escaped, and that escaped also sent a wrong message to myself, to my peers, because they thought then, yeah, I was the guy, mostly wanted to befriend me. And I was on the run. I couldn't go back home. That's when I left home. That's when I moved out from home at that time, because then
Okay.
I was wanted. I was one of the wanted in the township, together with the guys that I escaped with from those holding cells. And I remember then, I think I was arrested after 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. I was rearrested. Then I went to prison for about 6 months. When Millennium started, the year 2000, I was in prison. I was released the year 2000 February. That was one of the craziest years in my criminal life as a young child, as a juvenile, as a young person. There, I was messed up. I did all sorts of crazy things, and
In jail.
that's why I didn't get that.
In jail.
Outside now. Now I got
Oh,
released.
you got
Yes,
released.
yes. I stayed 6 months in prison for those churches and the escape. Escape, I remember they sentenced me to 3 years, 3 years suspended, for that escape, because I was a minor at the same time. Of course, then I was still 15 years old. Then the year 2000, that's where everything crazy started happening, and I advanced in my criminal life, because you see, one of the things that the justice system doesn't realize is that when you take a young person and you place them in prison where there's career criminals, they are bound to get and adopt those ideas, and develop courage, to do more crazy crimes. You see, that's the risk of taking a young person who is very impressionable and take them into a prison cell full of thugs, full of career criminals.
So you have to
And
survive.
that's, yes, it was rough. It was pretty rough. And funny enough, I never took any prison number. I was never a prison gang. Outside here, I was a gangster together with my crew. I remember
Yeah.
at some point I was part of the Abita gang. At some point, I was part of the Hard Livings. Briefly in those gangs, I changed gangs at the same time. And fast forward, I lost a lot of my friends the year 2000. A lot of my friends, I lost them. They died in crime scenes. And some then got arrested, and they were given crazy, crazy prison sentences.
Yeah.
And then, went back home that year. It was like, I started looking for my dad. I didn't know who my dad was, LeRoy. You see, the absence of a father figure in a child's life, has a major impact, though it's not the sole reason why a young person will go commit crime. But you see, the role of a father is important in every
Yeah.
child's life. So I started looking for my dad. I wanted my dad. And I remember, I was not born again. I did not even know God. But my family was born again. My family loved the Lord. They still love the Lord. But I said one night, I said, you know what? God, if you hear me, before I die or before I go to prison, can I please at least meet my dad? Can I see him just,
Sure.
see just his face, because every time, anywhere I went, I used to look at men that at least looked like me, because I was my father. When I found my dad, this was the year 2001. The first time I met my dad, I was about to turn 17 years old. It was as if my life was going to change for the better. I should admit it was a bit of relief that I've met my dad finally. But looking for my dad didn't mean I didn't have a father figure. I had my stepdad, who is an amazing guy. I love that guy. And when I say amazing, not because he's got money. No, he doesn't have money, but he's been loving me ever since he walked into my life. That's why I continue to appreciate that gentleman, Thabo Hlajwayo.
Yeah.
That's the man that raised me. That's the man that got married to my mom. And then now, I started advancing into my criminal life, hijacking, business robbery, all these other crazy stuff. And by the time I was on my birthday, 2003, on the 18th of May, I was arrested together with my two co-accused, and we were classified as one of the youngest most wanted in the East End at that time. And, I thought it was the worst thing happening to me. You can imagine being arrested on your birthday. My man, I thought it was a curse. I thought this is the worst thing that can ever happen to a human being.
When they arrested you,
yeah.
So you've done a lot of things, right? So now you've done a lot of things. They know it's you. You've done a bit more, because I think 18 years there was probably something very dangerous that you've done.
Yes, definitely.
It doesn't sound like it was a light crime thing.
No, my churches, I had about 27 churches, right? 27 churches. They were ranging from armed robberies, murder, rape, possession of 4 unlicensed firearm. So it was a stream of armed robberies, murder cases, possession of 4 unlicensed firearm, and a rape case. You understand? So imagine a 19-year-old being arrested for those charges. You get into a juvenile facility with young, crazy criminals. Hard criminals sentenced to 18 years imprisonment. You are forced to become hard.
No, that sounds like. But thank you for sharing, and thank you for being open about the charges and stuff. I know it's not always easy, but I think for a time now you get into jail, and I think this is a question for every man. I think jail is probably the worst thing that you've got on your mind. I don't know. Especially for us guys, we've only been in holding cells for a couple of hours. Never been to the big jail.
Yeah.
And now you come into jail. What are you scared? Do you get robbed? What happens when you get in? Because I know maybe it's just one of my fears to going to jail. I never want to go to jail. I think I'm too handsome of a guy to go to jail anyway.
No one should go to
jail. But what happens now? Do you get robbed? Do you fight? You getting in now? What's your mindset?
Okay. Now, firstly, because being sentenced was obviously a new thing, that now I was going to prison as a sentenced offender, right?
Yeah.
But remember, I started going to jail from Stout School, from Stout School to the actual prison awaiting trial. So I was more like prepared for the worst. I was used to the prison life. I knew the behavior that I needed to have to survive prison, And remember, friends that I was gangsters with outside here, they were also gangsters, So I knew the language, I knew the language, I knew the lingo, I knew what the do's and don'ts, And now I was very handsome, LeRoy. I was very handsome. I still am.
You still are. Let's see in the comment section. Does anybody agree with you? Anybody agrees that he's very handsome? Doesn't seem like you're getting any comments here, Thapelo.
Well, they're jealous. You must know. You must know they are jealous. But Mr. Slava, I younger. The younger we are, is the more handsome we are. And at that time, so I remember. Let me share this one joke with you before I can tell you how then I survived my prison term. One day, the first time I went to Modapi prison, I was 15 years old. 15 years old. That time, prisoners were wearing green uniform, and that uniform used to be scarier than the orange one. I mean, imagine a dark guy wearing a green uniform and with a sporty, somewhere here, So now I went into Modapi. Remember, now I have a lot of churches. This is when I had escaped and they rearrested me. So they thought, no, one, can't go to a juvenile detention center anymore. He has to go to the actual prison because now he escaped. You know,
with the big boys.
hey, my man, I went to jail for the first time, and at that time there were no human rights, man. At that time, it was prison was still crazy. Before Busasa and all of them got into prison to fix the prison environment, you would strip naked to start with when you get into prison. All of us,
Yeah.
The truck delivers us, we strip naked, all of us. Then after a search, we dress up, we get to be admitted. At the admission area, in that admission area, there was this guy, LeRoy. When I tell people, they laugh. There was this guy. He was already serving time, LeRoy. This guy is serving time, and he's a prison cook. That guy. So let me tell you, first time in prison, all of us become afraid.
Yeah.
There is fear. But you see, fear is the worst thing that can happen to you in prison. You need to put a brave face. Never show that you are afraid. Never reveal, never expose your fears in prison. Because they will capitalize on it. This guy is a food handler. Before he dishes out food, this guy, he notices me. So you can see my lips are pink. Ne? So at that time,
so he's seeing this young man with the nice lips.
Yo. That guy terrorized me, but I didn't show. You know what he said, that guy? When he saw me, so he said in isiZulu, I know you can hear isiZulu. He said, "Hey, who's this young man that is so handsome? So he's screaming. He's saying that he's going to sleep with me that day.
That is the worst fear of any man ever in the world.
Ever. Now I'm thinking my worst fear is going to happen today. So, but look, I'm not alone. I'm with my homeboys as we getting admitted. And some have long been getting in and out of prison. And they assured me, they were like, nah, he's bluffing. Where awaiting trials are kept. It's not where sentenced prisoners are kept as well. Yeah, but I was afraid deep down, And then we went to Dish now. He's a food handler. LeRoy in prison. Do you know what is a skepper in prison? Where they skep, and it's like, it's nothing. They dish nothing for you, man. Only gravy and a touch of pap. Allow me to say, and a touch of pap.
Yeah.
The first time I ate a karalapa was in prison. That was the first time I had a karalapa, and I used to dislike it because of how it smelled, how it looked. Yeah. But then that guy now, as we go to dish, he's dishing very, very little food for everyone. When he saw me, hey, that guy violated me. Hey, that guy. Dude. That guy violated me. That guy, when he saw me, he said, yo, I am. Here's my boy. He put a lot of pap in my plate. He put a lot of cabbage, a lot of karlapao. LeRoy, my man, I was so embarrassed. I felt so small. So I didn't know how to react. Remember, there's prison gangsters. There's numbers. So I didn't know which number he belonged to. So I was aware of causing, trouble. I did not want trouble to follow me during my stay there. So I had to observe and behave as if, okay, I don't know what's happening, But that's why it ended. He didn't touch me. Instead, I met him a few days later when I was used to the place, and I told him nonsense, days later. But when I was sentenced, I had already, I've known prison, but still I was afraid. I was going to Sun City. I mean, hey, Sun City, there is stories in Sun City, and there were fears of being sodomized as well. Now you don't know what's going to happen. It's a prison that everyone spoke about, you know, one of the most prison, according to people, what they were describing about Sun City, you know, all the stories that I heard about Sun City. But I went there as a juvenile offender. I was still crazy. I was still crazy at that time. But
So now are you still using drugs in prison now, or what's happening? What are you now? What are you doing?
yes, yes. In prison, I was still using drugs, you know. So now you know how I got to quit, LeRoy. Now, in prison, I was involved in only the one and only fight in prison. I had one fight, one and only. So Sun City, where I was, that prison, it's a single cell center, you know, where a cell is meant for one person. It used to be death row. It used to be a death row section, but when death row was cancelled, then they would put a high profile. At that time, it was a juvenile facility maximum, you know, and then now it's high profile criminals that get to be incarcerated there. And in that prison, we were, because it's overcrowded, we used to stay in threes or fours in a cell that's meant for one person. So I had two cellmates there. I mean, we used to share things like cigarette, you know, whatever that we could share to survive, you know. So I shared my PP. Do you know PP, LeRoy? Boxer.
Yeah, the boxer. Yeah.
The boxer. Imagine. Now, I used to smoke that in prison. It's the best cigarette, it's the best guai there. You know, when you have that, look, you are sorted, you know. But when you have white cigarette, it means, you know, you are in Gamla. You have all the money.
You've got money. If you've got a normal Stuyvesant, Rotmans, whatever, you've got money. The boxer lasts long.
Yeah. Boxer, it means no, it's tough. It's tough, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how it is for most people while in prison. So now I gave my homeboy a bit of my PP. I gave to my homeboy. He's probably watching here, you know. He's also outside now. And now I gave a bit of that to him. And these guys in my cell started fighting that why did I share? Because they always share with me. I was like, yeah, but even if you share with me, I still have the liberty to share with whoever that I want.
Yeah.
That's when the fight started. We fought so bad. So bad, such that I was swollen. You know when you're bleeding, you don't have to blow your nose. But I blew my nose, and the doctor told me that while I was blowing my nose, all the blood rushed under my eye. You know, so I was swollen, my man. It was like, yo, something terrible happened to me. And my family, when they came to visit me, oh, they were so sad. They probably thought someone sodomized me. They did not want to leave my story very well, you know. But that was when I decided to quit. I felt, I'm too clever for this, you know, to be fighting for cigarette. Where's PP, you know? And then that's when I started selling dacha in prison. That's when I started selling cigarette, because it was a juvenile center. Dacha and all of these things, I mean, cigarette was not allowed by the head of the prison. He's probably watching. He's my friend here on Facebook, Mr. Maputuma.
Mr. Maputuma.
Yes. He chose cigarette there because it was a juvenile center. And then I started selling, you know, dacha, cigarette, and all of that, just to survive at that time. But you see, that was the beginning of the change of my life, LeRoy. You know,
how did it change? What happened? What changed you?
That fight was supposed to continue. My homeboys fighting for me. Those guys belonged to the Rough Trees, if I'm not mistaken, a prison gang, you know. So because I spilled blood off the Rough Trees, they wanted their blood from me, meaning they either had to stab me, you know, blood had to come out of me, or I had to pay. So my homeboys mostly were not gangsters, but they're crazy guys, you know. They wanted to fight with me. They were like, nah, to fight for me. They're like, nah, leave them. We're gonna stand together, you know, against these guys. But there was one guy who spoke sense to me. He spoke life. That guy said to me, Chere, look, if you decide now to let this fight happen, you must know your life will change forever in prison. And you may end up having to get into gangsterism to spend your life throughout your prison. But the worst can happen. Someone can die, you can get burned, you can get stabbed. And mind you, wardens are watching. So they're gonna beat you guys up.
Yeah.
They're gonna let you, but they're gonna beat you guys up. So you have to choose to either become clever or just be a party, you know. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'd rather be not clever in prison, you know, and be regarded as, you know, as if now my vent is 8, you know,
Yeah.
like now I have no power anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that guy was born again. You see, that's the most interesting thing. He was a motivational speaker, one of the most powerful inmate motivational speaker the minister used to call for speaking or to speak in other events outside prison. He spoke to me. He preached the living gospel to me. That guy preached Jesus to me. And look, I gave my life to the Lord. That's what changed my life, you know, and that's what sustains me because I gave, you know, though I was still selling dacha and cigarette, you know. But you see, here's the thing about transformation. It's progressive, you know. It happens gradually, progressively, so especially when effort is being put. So that's how my life changed.
So you be born again, you give your life to God, to Jesus, you become a Christian. But what you're saying is everything didn't change immediately.
Yes.
And I can say that's with me too. When everything, you don't leave, you don't be born again, and today your heart has changed. Right, but you're still selling cigarettes, you're still selling dacha.
Yes. But I used to go to church, you know, and then slowly but surely, the Lord will convict you. You will decide. You see, the best change or the best decisions are when someone takes those decisions to say, I want to quit this. I want to stop, you know, and then surround yourself with people that are going to help you maintain that decision. You know, you can't say you want to change, but yet still hang around with people that are still living that lifestyle that you wanna let go of, that you wanna escape. You see, so I gave my life to the Lord, started going to church, but I dropped out at grade 6. I mean at grade 8 outside here.
Yeah.
So I mean my educational background was very low. You know, I couldn't read properly. Couldn't construct sentences. You know, I was gangster. I was hardcore. I was, look, I remember I wrote a letter to one of my girlfriends in prison, LeRoy. And in that letter, I wanted to say, baby.
What did you want to say?
Oh, so now I wanted to say to her, in this institution that I'm in, you know, but instead I said in this constitution that I am in, you know, and there were a lot of errors. I still have those letters, you know. I used to, you know, have a rough sketch of a letter, then write a neat one that will go out, you know. So, but I discovered these things as, you know, then I became woke and I realized that, nah. But I decided to go back to school in prison, and I started with a lot of short courses. I discovered myself in prison. I discovered the man that I am, my capabilities, you know, and I also discovered my purpose there, you know. I think that's the best thing that ever happened to me. It sounds so strange, but prison is the best thing that happened to me, you know. I needed prison. Prison was necessary to the Chere that I was, because prison didn't change me. But you see, prison presented opportunities for me that I wouldn't necessarily get outside here.
You would have been dead, eh? If you didn't go to prison.
I didn't get that.
I said you probably would have been dead if you didn't go to prison. Prison basically saved your life.
Yes, yes, and the fact that I gave my life to the Lord. But I wanna send a clear message to young people watching this, that you don't need to go to prison for your life to change. You don't need to go to prison to then discover yourself, or be exposed to opportunities that you feel you do not have outside here. You may not survive prison like I did. There are a lot of people who went to prison, they are worse. Some did not come out alive. Some are crippled. I see them outside here. Their lives are very sad, and some went back to prison. So it's not prison that changed me, but prison for my purpose really worked for the better.
Thapelo, I think now, so you're in prison, you found your purpose, you found God, right? You've accepted Jesus as your Lord and Savior. You found your purpose. You've been in there for 8 years, right? You've got 18, but you served 8, right?
Yeah.
Now you come out. What happens now? Thapelo Chere comes out. What happens? How do people trust you? The family? What do you want to do with yourself now that you found your purpose? Now that you're outside.
I want to mention that everything had to start with me. How I saw myself, how I still see myself, the confidence that I had in myself, the belief that I had, represented me. They say how you addressed determines how you will be addressed. You see, that is very important. The same goes to how you addressed in your mind, determines how you will be addressed, because the clothes or the material that you are wearing in your mind will be known by what you are saying, and people will address you accordingly. You understand? So, LeRoy, upon my release, I made a conscious decision. A lot of guys, when they leave prison, they leave wearing track pants, track suits, wearing leather jackets, and it's okay. Look, it's okay because they live in prison. That's what matters. But I told my family to bring my suit and tie, the one that I wore in one of my graduations, in prison. And they brought that, and I had decided that I'm going to look the way I want people to look at me. And I'm going to be presented just the way I need, for people to regard me. I wore a suit and tie, LeRoy. I was at my best when I left prison. And I spoke to the prison gates that day. I said, I'm not coming back here anymore. And I was released. And upon my release, you see, the community, I didn't hear if there were negative comments or negative that were said. I didn't hear those things. You know why? Because they were looking at my behavior and attitude. They addressed me based on how I was presenting myself. They told me they were proud of me, not because of what they thought of me, but because of what they saw me doing and the life that I was leading. Fortunate enough, I had job offers before my release. You see, I prepared for my release while I was in prison. I did not want to start a new life not knowing where I am going upon my release. I started looking for a job while I was in prison.
How did you find a job? Because I know that's what a lot of people that were in prison say, that say, because I've got the criminal record and because of the perceptions, it's difficult to find a job for an ex-convict, ex-prisoner.
Positioning, LeRoy. In life, all need to position ourselves. We need to put ourselves in a position where when opportunities arrive and they find you in the right position. In prison, I made sure that I connected with potential employers. When we invited people to our events in prison, because I was highly active in prison, I was one of the cream of that place. I was one of the shining stars in that place. I brought hope and light. So when visitors and guests came to our events, they couldn't help it but to notice me.
Mm.
Not because I was shouting and saying, hey, notice me. No. They saw that the work, the job that I was doing, how I used to organize events, how I used to run my programs, how I used to direct the program whenever I was an MC in an event, they liked me, and they could see what I'm capable of in prison. Then when I asked them for a job, they were more than happy to employ me upon my release. So I had 2 job offers, and upon my release, I took one, and I was employed. So I didn't have a lot of time roaming around the township, being confused and frustrated, excuse me. I knew the direction that which I was taking way
Oh, well
before,
done.
yeah, I was released.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
very inspiring, and it's powerful to see that that didn't go get you down. It actually made you better,
yes,
and
definitely.
it encouraged you. And I think I met you in, I don't know the year it was, and you were organizing an event, Chere initiative. So tell us about what you do, how your business started, what you're doing now.
So upon my release, I was still doing what they call community service.
Yeah,
So my community service mostly I would do it at school, where I used to clean around the school, help with cleaning the school. But I always seized an opportunity to speak to young people about crime, substance abuse, and taking life serious.
yeah,
So every chance that I would get, I would do that. And I realized that this is what I'm passionate about, and this is what I want to do. I want to develop young people. I want to help them not to fall into the traps that I fell into as a young person. And I'm a professional speaker. I thought
yeah.
to myself, how about I start talks, with schools, with retail stores. And I realized that for me to be taken serious, I had to register an entity,
Yeah.
because I'm an ex-offender. But people need to take it serious. They need to realize that this is not an ex-offender talking to them, but it's a professional.
Yeah.
So I registered my company 2014, 2014, Chere Initiatives.
Yeah.
And it was with that company that I started motivational talks, and I started coaching one-on-one, young people who are in conflict with the law, young people who are at risk, with using substances, delinquents, they are rebellious, they don't listen to their parents, they're always in and out of prison, they're in trouble. That's how I started my business. That's how Chere Initiatives was started. But already I had registered the car dealership 2013,
Yeah.
but it didn't go anywhere because I think then at that time it was too exciting, such that I wanted to pitch the idea so high, wanted to immediately have a car dealership full of cars.
Yeah.
Little did I realize that I had to start small with one car and grow from there. But Chere Initiatives was actually where I got to serve my purpose. You see, it's beyond making money, but
Mm.
it's more about impacting lives. It's more about changing lives. But you see, with charity initiatives, this is where I charge because it's a private company. I charge for my talks. I charge for a whole lot of things. But I have an amazing coach. Have an amazing coach who's also my pastor, Mr.
Yeah.
Tony Siaka. He's my pastor. He
I
then
remember the
started.
book. You gave me a book of him once, eh?
Yes, yes, yes. You actually
Good
bought
book.
it.
Good.
Yes,
Good.
because what I used to do at that time, because I didn't know how to make money, I used to take his books, sell it, but mark up,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
price. I would make my profit out of those books. And it used to keep me going, used to keep me going. And when I met you, I remember I was organizing an event called Health and Wellness, but in the township,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's how we met, that's how we connected, and that's when we realized that we have a lot in common. But more than anything, I think the brotherhood that connects us, and with the purpose of your life as well, the amazing entrepreneur that you are. You saw beyond an ex-offender, and you trusted me with resources, really great resources that not just anyone can entrust me with. And I think that's when I realized that I found a brother in you, but an entrepreneur as well, you know, that inspires me, someone that I look up to. I think that must have been when it was in 2014, I remember.
14, yeah, no, glory to God. And then
Yeah.
you planned that, and that's what was inspiring. I remember that day when you came. We sat there, we talked, and I think I also got saved a few years before that. It was so inspiring. It's like we knew each other. It was a supernatural spiritual connection there.
Yes, we connected supernaturally because, you know, when I approached you, I did not even know that you were actually running that business, that franchise there at Sakade Mall. I didn't know that you were the owner or you were running that business, you know. And I approached someone that I thought, you know, I probably can listen to what I have, because you see, when something bends me, I push limits, I push doors, and I swallow my pride, and I approach people and hoping that someone will hear me and they will probably come, you know, into party. And yes, I did that. That event did not become successful. It's one of the events that I'm yet to do, because I know the concept is very big, you know. I'm yet to do that event. And but from there I've been moving, you know, doing different things, getting exposure in different platforms, you know, and
Basically,
my brand.
covered all the radio stations, all the TV stations.
Yes.
You've been everywhere.
And the TV stations actually, they started getting more interested in me, the media, when I started organizing camps. You know, remember I had camps that I called Winning Against Substance Abuse. You
Yes.
know, and that's when the media had interest in what I do, and I got, you know, all these interviews to promote my camps, my speaking engagements, you know, and I met a whole lot of people, and I grew from there. I got to learn that it doesn't matter who you know, but it matters who knows you, because you see, you can know a minister, but if a minister doesn't know you, you know, there's nothing that they can do for you. You understand? And I learned a lot through the process, and yeah, I've been growing ever since. That's how Born to Win was born as well. Born to
Yeah.
Win through or by Mr. Tony Siaka. And then we all came on board, you know, to be part of Born to Win Foundation. And it's one amazing, amazing foundation where we do everything that we do in our private companies. But now you see, this represents people. This is a foundation where we seek for sponsorship, funding, you know, to do the work that we love, but more so the work that will make a difference in communities, you know, take young people to camps, you know, may have seminars, you know, address the boy child challenges, you know, help parents to deal with challenges of raising a boy child, you know.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
where we do amazing work, and this is where we get support.
So, Thapelo, thanks for that. Yeah, so interesting. Actually, comments are coming through. The Linyebo says we'll get in touch. Meshes, guys, apologies for the pronunciation. Net who says inspiring story. The past is the past. What matters is the future. Tip says we're too jealous to say anything. Great talk. Lenny says aware, gents. And Tabiseng says inspiring.
Wow.
Thapelo, guys, if you got any questions, we've got a few minutes left. So, I think I've got 3 more questions before we tell people where they can get a hold of you, if they want you to come speak, or as you guys can hear, he's an amazing speaker. If they want to partner with you, any advice for someone who's found themselves either in drugs, in crime, went to prison, and want to get out, or they're already out of it, but they don't know what to do, what their purpose is. So maybe two. That's two questions. Someone who's still involved in drugs, in crime, in or out of prison. What advice would you have for them? And someone who's come out of prison, who has changed their lives and want to do something, but is not sure what to do.
Okay, let's start with people who are still outside here. They are into drugs and they are still into crime, right? One of the best things that they can do that may work, live where you stay, leave your environment, especially if you can, you know, go have a fresh start. Even if you have to, you're gonna have to come back where you stay years later, but just go, because it means your triggers are where you stay. The pressure of your
Yes.
peers doing well, the pressure of your peers using around where you stay, you know. But if you leave, go to another location, it doesn't mean there are no criminals, there are no drugs where you'll be going, but you'll be making a conscious decision to avoid those things as much as possible. But while you are there, connect with people that will help you rediscover yourself and invigorate you. You know, you need strength of character to overcome the things or your addiction, the habits that you are having already. That's one advice. But get busy, keep busy, connect with people, find relevant people, you know, start reading, you know, start going to church. Church is important, you know,
Yeah.
connect with God, it's important. He's your anchor. That is your place of safety. Then to guys that are still in prison as well.
But I think let's summarize that quickly. So you're saying for guys that are still involved in drugs, still involved in crime, change your environment. I remember I did this. Remember, I was also, now your stories, mine is light, drugs, rehabs. And I remember for about a year or two, also went to church, gave my life to Jesus. I stayed away for about a year or two. They only saw me. And that I was watching Friday nights, I was watching TV with my mother.
Yeah. Something that you were not used to.
And it felt good. And
Yes.
it felt good. Something that I wasn't used to. So change your environment. It says connect with positive people. Connect with people who are potentially where you want to be.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying there. Educate yourself and then go to church.
Yes.
Okay. So those are the 4 points, guys. And then you're saying now you are in prison or you're coming out for the next, guys. What's the advice there?
Yeah. So you are in prison, you're about to come out, or you are in rehab, you're about to come out, and or you just got released. You see, what is important as well is to get mentors, coaches. Look at people who are also where you want to be. You know, connect with those people. You know, now in Born to Win, this is what we say in Born to Win. Passion points to purpose. Passion points to purpose. You see, discover things that you are passionate about, be it singing, be it writing, drawing, you know, physical activities. Write down 5 things at which you are passionate about, 5 things at least. After writing down those 5 things, you know, break them down into 3, the most passionate things. You know, as soon as you get 3 things that you are most passionate about, then find mentors in those aspects, and then look at what you can do. If maybe you an artist that draws, you know, and you are passionate about that, you look at ways in which you can make money through your drawings, or you look at ways in which you can impact communities, take young people out of crime, out of the streets through your drawing, you know, where you can either go look for sponsors that can give you material and get young people to be around there. So when your passion will lead you to your purpose, while you are busy with that, you will discover people and things that you may do to make money out of that, and you can grow from there. But more than anything, get a coach, get a mentor, someone that can help you get to where you want to be, or at least give you direction.
Okay, Thapelo, that's so if you're in it, you say write down 5 things that you are passionate about, narrow it down to 3.
Yes.
And then go find coaches and mentors which You are a coach, you are a mentor. There's already a few questions here about where they can get a hold of you. We'll come to that now, guys. Mentors and coach, you says your passion to your purpose.
Passion points to purpose.
Passion points to purpose. Okay, guys, you listen to that. Remember, this will be on YouTube. It'll be on this page. You can come listen to it again. If you know people that need to hear this, there's many people. I know of people. Share it with them. We'll put Thapelo's details in the comment section where you guys can get hold of him. Last question. I know we've been going for an hour now and 5 minutes, but the last question before we get hold of you. If there's someone asked me this question the other day, so I'm just curious what your answer is. If there's something you would change from your life, what would it be? Of this whole journey. If there's something you'd have changed?
About my life?
Yeah, now, from this whole thing, if there's something you'd have changed, what would it be? If something you would have done different. Someone asked me this question a couple of weeks ago, and I thought about it. I'm curious to hear what your answer is.
It will be my association. If there is one thing that I would have changed ever since I was born, it would be my association. You see, you brand by association. You grow by association. Iron sharpens iron. Association is one of the most powerful things that taken for granted in life. You see, it doesn't matter how illiterate I am, but if I associate with educated people, one way or the other, I will grow. If I associate with politicians, I'll become a politician or politically minded eventually, you know. So if there's one thing that I wish I could change or would have changed in my life growing up, it will be association.
Good one. Good one. Yeah. So now, Thapelo, we've got a few questions. Lenny says, Ben Hilda says, thank you. Lenny says, can I get info for the speaker? Tepiso says, great talk. Need more of this in our communities with the unemployment rate. Lenny says, thank you, Lenny. Thank you, Tepiso. Thank you guys for all the comments. We appreciate it. As I said, like and share it with as many people as you can. There's a lot of people that need to hear this. Now, Thapelo, just tell us, Chere Initiative, tell us everything that you do, how we can get a hold of you. And
okay. I do coaching one-on-one. I do group coaching. I specialize in youth that is in conflict with the law, substance abuse, youth development. You know, I do a lot of community initiatives, community development. You know, I'm a professional speaker. I speak on different and a lot of topics, especially around social ills, you know, and personal development as well. You know, I speak a lot on that, and we do life skills training, both in Born to Win and in Chere initiatives. You know, so basically, Chere initiatives and Born to Win do similar services. Difference is that Chere initiative charges for private, you know, companies or people that are calling me privately. Then Born to Win does these things for free when we are funded. You know, when there is funds or donation or sponsorship. You know, we do a lot of humanitarian aid relief programs. So we do coaching, we do mentorship. We have programs that we are doing right now. Chere Initiatives is working on boy-child online seminars. So parents that really do want to know more about how to raise or deal with a boy child, you know, they should just quickly follow Chere Initiatives for more information, or Born to Win as well, or my personal page, Chere Thapelo Mateke.
Chere Initiatives on Facebook. Where are you? Are you on Facebook?
Yes, Chere Initiatives on Facebook.
Born to Win on Facebook.
Born to Win Foundation on Facebook.
Born to Win Foundation on Facebook. And Thapelo Chere Maseka on. Yeah. You have a personal page.
Yes, Chere Thapelo Mateke on my personal Facebook page.
Okay.
Yes.
What you're gonna do is you're gonna send me the details of all of that, and we'll put it in the comment section for them, for everyone. of the foundation, Chere initiatives, and your personal contact details. If anyone wants to get a hold of you, I'm sure there will be many people that want to get a hold of you. So what you're saying is you do corporate gigs, speaking, mentors, and you do. I know you give back as well. You go back to jails around the country,
Yeah.
and you to speak to
We've been doing some amazing work with the Nelson Mandela Foundation. We take the boy child for tours. We have a program called Impact and Transform Through Exposure. We do that, and we have a program for reintegration of ex-offenders together with the Nelson Mandela Foundation. And we are working on more activities for the boy child that will be happening this month, since it's Human Rights Month, and the next month it will be Freedom Month. So we have some activities planned for us now, and we've been giving food parcels wherever we can through the Nelson Mandela Foundation. So there's a lot. I mean, if people have clothes that they want to donate, they have food, blankets, whatever that you have, please contact us. We'll share our details. Contact us. We can come collect, just so that we can give to those who really do need those things. Yes.
Oh, thank you, Thapelo. Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming. As I said, this is where we have conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. And yeah, so you've inspired us, you've motivated us, and we're so proud of you. Congratulations on all your achievements, and all the best for the future, my brother.
Thanks to you. I want to mention this one last thing, LeRoy. A lot of corporates, they taking substance abuse not so serious. They think it's a silly thing when someone is addicted, but usually that's just but a fruit. There are usually underlying issues when someone is into substances. Usually, not everyone. So I really want to talk to people who are in corporate watching this right now, that invite us. We know what's happening. Want to talk to your staff. Most of them are using substances, and you do not know that because they approach us privately. But we want to help you really, so that you can help your staff, be more efficient in the working space, the working environment. So yeah, just want to mention that, and thank you so much for really inviting me, and for putting me in such a powerful platform. You're such an amazing entrepreneur, and I look up to you and what you do in property. I now have a property business, and it's mostly because of what you've shared with me. I have a property business now that which I want to do more with this year and moving forward. So and thank you so much. Thanks to your followers and the viewers, and really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Right? Conversation with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can listen to all the other videos. Like, follow the page, share it with as many people as possible. As you can see, guys, we're getting exciting, inspirational guests on here. People are doing amazing. People are changing the world. Let me say that. Thapelo is changing the world actively. So thank you so much. Have a good day. God bless. We'll see you guys next week. We'll put these details in the comment section.
Definitely. Thank you.
Okay.
Sharp.